Well, if you've been noticing that driving seems to be getting worse, you are not imagining things. For years, the number of crashes on Minnesota roads held steady. But COVID came and everything changed, and things have not been the same since. KARE 11's Jennifer Hoff looks at what's happening and why.
Whoa!
Bad driving habits in Minnesota
The stupidity of people.
are really driving people nuts
DQ presents.
and driving them to post compilations like these online. The close calls, though, hitting too close to home for David Moss.
He straight up blew the red light.
A black SUV hit the 56-year-old engineer's car, rolling it over and damaging Moss's so much he had to trade the totaled car in for this new one.
Do you feel lucky that you walked away from the crash?
Had it been a second earlier, half a second earlier, I would have been straight into the driver's door, and I don't think I'd have been walking away from it.
Data shows dangerous driving especially peaked during the pandemic despite fewer cars on the road. The Department of Public Safety's measurement by the number of crashes only. That increased some 10% every year until last year and included a record number of fatalities in 2021.
You have to outthink, overthink, be super careful.
What's more, that same data shows the number of crashes held steady for years before the pandemic, and there were far fewer fatalities.
You get with vehicles that are larger and larger and larger, and people feel invincible in them and move about like, yeah, get out of my way.
Experts say drivers are more distracted, stressed, and really rusty, not only threatening the safety of others, but further rankling them on the roads too.
We're not crazy to think that some of those bad driving habits seem worse right now.
No, not at all.
Brian Porter is a professor at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, schooled in traffic psychology, a niche specialty that studies driver behavior.
What we typically are upset about when we think about aggressive driving is really reckless driving. We're worried about the guy who's tailgating us. We're worried about the one that runs that red light.
That's the behavior that's driving people nuts.
Right.
The data shows several things, including the younger the driver, the scarier the behavior. 59% of Gen Zers admit to being more impatient than a year ago. People also overrate their skills. 86% think they're good or even excellent, while only 23% would say the same of others. And multitasking and speeding has increased. 54% of people admit going 10 miles per hour over the limit.
Whoa, wait.
The nagging question, though, is still why people keep taking more risks on the road.
We know that if a behavior occurs and it's helpful to you, say you were speeding to work, you got there faster, you didn't get a ticket. What have you learned? You've learned that you can speed, get to work faster, not get a ticket. And as long as we don't hit anybody, we can almost get away with anything.
Those same psychologists are also recommending more roundabouts, speed humps, and narrowing lanes to make driving more safe.
Truthfully, the majority of people will try to follow the law. The majority of people will do the right thing. It's how do we as a culture work together so that we limit the rewards, if you will, and the opportunities for drivers that are more reckless to take those risks.
For most of us, driving is routine. It's also complex, and not taking great care can have consequences, the least being frustration if it's not your fault.
It's a headache, it's a hassle. I'm out money.
David Moss may not have been hurt when that driver who hit him ran a red light, but such persistent bad driving habits
right through the red
is really just people playing a dangerous game.
I feel lucky that I walked away from it. I feel unlucky that it happened at all.
Jennifer Hoff, KARE 11 News.
And we haven't even had the snow and ice and all of that, really.
Well, yeah,
just a couple blasts.
You look at traffic numbers, you know, the number of accidents on the roadway, it peaks this time of year.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the first big snow of the season where people are maybe not so used to driving on slippery conditions.